Hi everyone, welcome. I'm so excited to be here today with the new stencil from A Colorful Life Designs. I will have linked below in my description box the website for A Colorful Life Designs, as well as my discount code, which is Tracy Fan 10, TracyFan 10, Tracy Fan 10. That'll get you 10% off your order, including this beautiful new elegant snowflake stencil, which we are going to foil today. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's get started. When I received this stencil, I knew I would want to foil it. I'm going to tell you how to foil with your stencil. So what I did off camera, I took some cardstock. I think I used 100 pound, but you can use lighter weight. It doesn't have to be 100 pound. And I used Deco Foil Gel. You can also use Texture Paste Transparent Gloss by Ranger. You can also use Shimmery Goodness. All of these are gels that you can use through your stencil. So what I did was off camera, because it takes a little bit for the gel to dry, I used my palette knife and I used my stencil. Do not use pixie spray when you do this, because the pixie spray will leave behind little flakes and you won't get as clean of a foil. So as you can see here, I have a nice foil job, and if I would have used pixie spray, all of that white would have had little flecks of pixie spray on it, and then it wouldn't have foiled as nice. So just don't use pixie spray when you're foiling. Just a rule of thumb, trust me. I've learned the hard way. I've got some of this H&H holographic rainbow. This is blue holographic rainbow. I use a small cutting plate or magnetic cutting board, whatever. Basically, it's a small cutting mat. And I use that to cut my foil. This is easier for me than using scissors, but you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. And I just have a rotary trimmer that I'm using to trim that. Now, when you do this, you want to have a soft brush. Now, you don't want a brush that's already been used. You want a brand new brush. And you can get these brushes off of Amazon. They're like 3 for $10, and they're really pretty. They have rainbow on them. It doesn't have to be this brush, though. It can be any soft brush. You want to dust the foil, and you want to dust your whatever it is that you're foiling. So for me, I dusted the blue foil, and then I dusted the white paper with the gel that I had put through the stencil earlier and let completely dry. Once it goes through the mink, and that's what I'm using, I use a mink. Some people use a laminator. I get best results using a mink. You do want to let that cool before you open it. It's just like a Band-Aid. You don't want to rip the Band-Aid right off. Give it a minute to cool so that foil will be nice and adhered to your gel. And when it's done cooling, which it doesn't take that long, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, then you can reveal, which is the best part of foiling, when you are ready to peel back that foil and look at how beautiful your design is. Now I'm using the pink holographic foil, and this foil comes from H&H foil. It is a textile foil, and it's a nice high quality foil, and it comes in nice big rolls at a nice affordable price. And I will have a link below to H&H textile foil in case you would like to try some of their beautiful designs. All right, let's look at this. Oh, stunning. I love this foil. I cannot get over the holographic bling of this foil. Now you'll notice that I had a little bit of foil on the corner, probably some paste got there. So I'm just going to use my mono sand eraser and erase that foil right off of that cardstock. And otherwise it looks great. When you do apply your paste through your stencil, no matter what paste you're using, you want to get a nice thin layer, and you want it to be evenly coated. Some of mine were a little bit uneven. And so what that makes for is more of a bumpy looking foil result, but still beautiful. This holographic foil is just reminds you of looking in a mirror. Now, this is Shimmery Goodness. You'll see that it looks a little different, whereas the gels are completely transparent. The Shimmery Goodness is really pretty. It dries to a shimmery goodness. A nice, beautiful, white, shimmery look to it. It's beautiful on its own, but you can foil with it. And I have some foil here that it reminds you of confetti. It's silver with little holographic confetti, for lack of a better description. And you run that through your Mink. I'm using Mink transfer sheets. Those are clear. Those are not laminator pouches. Do not use laminator pouches unless you want to laminate your sheet, because you can run laminating pouches through your Mink, but that's not what I'm using. I'm using a Heidi Swap Mink transfer folder, specially designed for using with the Mink. Oh, this is so pretty. It just never gets old, folks. Another thing about foil, you can save what we call the waste foil, and you can foil it on black toner paper. So this is a product from Deco Foil, and it is being trimmed. I'm trimming it down to just regular card panel size. And I'm going to take a piece of the foil that I sent through already, and I'm going to foil the waste. So all I'm doing here is lining it up, and I'll just send it through my Mink. Now I do have a mistake that I make here. You'll see how that little piece of foil is buckling at the bottom. I should have trimmed it, because you need to have that edge flat. If you don't have it flat, then there's a pretty good chance that your foil will crinkle a little bit when you run it through your Mink. That's my error. It is not the fault of the Mink. It is not the fault of the transfer envelope or folder or whatever you want to call it. I was in a hurry, and I was so excited because I know how pretty this is going to look when it's done. And I was getting a little bit impatient. So yeah, it's got a little wrinkle through it. You'll see that at the bottom there. So that wrinkle there, it's really not that noticeable, but you can't get it out. Okay, there you can see it on that waste foil. By the way, you can't reuse it after you have completely sent it through the Deco on this Deco Foil toner paper, and it's clear, like it looks like a window that you can see through. That's when you want to pitch it. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So I have my mini Mink out. I also have a full-size Mink. That's how much I love the Mink products. And I have it set to 3, which is nice hot. One thing that's an advantage of a Mink over a laminator is it gets hotter. There's no doubt about it. It gets hotter. And also it has more pressure than a laminator. Laminators were built to laminate paper. Minks were built to foil. And so you've got a better result. So that one turned out really pretty too. I like how it's like a dark snowflake. But this last one that I'm showing you right now is my all-time favorite. I just love this blue holographic foil. It just reminds me of the color aquamarine. It's just a beautiful turquoise color, whatever. It's just such pretty blue. And I'm going to carefully put it into my transfer folder. And I'm going to make sure everything is nice and flat after I dustied. That's what we call it over at the Foiling Snobs Club, dusty. You're actually getting rid of dust. Dust is the enemy of foil. You have to use a brush to get rid of that dust, because there's lots of dust in the air. You can't see it with the naked eye, but it is on your paper, your fingers, the foil. So that's why you want a dusty. Now I'm going to pull this back, after I get a handle on it, and it is so pretty. I just love this one. So this was foiling the waste. This was the leftover piece after I had already foiled it one time. So earlier in the beginning of the video, I was using white paper. I foiled the Elegant Snowflake Stencil, and it was a gel medium that I used to foil it with. And then when I sent it through the ink, it was beautiful. I saved the piece of foil and I used it on the black toner sheet. Now you don't have to buy Deco Foil black toner sheets. If you have a laser printer, you can print your own toner sheets. Basically, you would just print a solid black piece of paper. And if you're not sure how to do that, check out the Foiling Snobs Club on Facebook. If you're not a member, you'll have to join. And you'll want to make sure that you answer the questions that are listed. Because if you don't answer all the questions, you don't get to join. There are 3 or 4 questions. Make sure if you're using your phone, you scroll down and answer all the questions. And you'll see that there are different events that we have and different videos that are available that can show you all kinds of wonderful tips and tricks around foiling. I'm just giving you some glimpse here of me creating a card now that I have this, basically a piece of waste foil turned into a beautiful, beautiful card front. I'm in love with this. I also took that foil and I'm running it through a solid, so it's a solid piece of foil. It wasn't foiled before. I'm running it through on a piece of black toner paper, and that's going to give me basically a blue foiled piece of card stock. So if you don't have this exact color blue cardstock and you want to have your, for example, you might want to have your sentiment match your foil and you don't have this exact color of foil, you can just do this instead. Make sure you watch all the way to the end of my video where I will have some still photos of my finished projects. But now let's go ahead and look at this. Now I'm going to take the foil off and you'll see I have a beautifully foiled piece of black toner paper. And I can use that to cut out sentiments. I can use it to mat my card. And that's exactly what I did. So here you have the waste foil foiled onto a sheet of black toner paper. And the border around it is foil paper, foiled black toner paper. You saw that at the end. I used some foil cardstock silver to cut out the word believe. And then I cut out 3 of the sentiment believe on regular cardstock. And then I stacked them together to create a nice 3-dimensional sentiment. This is the same snowflake. Used the same color foil. This is using the gel medium. And I just thought it was so pretty without a sentiment. You don't have to put a sentiment on every Christmas card that you make or holiday card. You can have the sentiment or the saying be on the inside. But I did put a piece of blue foil paper cardstock as a base to this, and I think it looks beautiful. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this elegant snowflake stencil and what you think about how it looks foiled. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe. I do provide videos. I try to at least once a week go live and also have several videos a week. And many of those are for Colorful Life Designs. So if you're a big fan of that company, you'll find lots of wonderful ways to use their stencils. And please make sure that you check out that discount code so that if you do decide to purchase anything, you can save 10% off your order. Finally, here's a sneak peek of some of the other panels that I created using the Elegant Snowflake Stencil and foil. So check out my Instagram and my Facebook page, and you'll see me posting the finished cards for these panels in the near future. Thanks so much for watching. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.